Welcome back. New year, same amazing PropStream product, and we've got Burton, my friend. We could be brothers, or maybe cousins. I think more brothers, buddy. What do you think?
I definitely think brother. Yeah, for sure. I'd definitely be the older one for sure.
No, dude. I'm the older one. You look like you're in your prime. I think I passed my prime. So that's the best. Everyone, let us know what city, what state, what country you're from. We're going to be talking about using PropStream to dominate your listing inventory, to dominate just more business. Because what we're seeing, especially with Compass purchasing all these legacy brands that just went through today, by the way, that's a data play. Like, how are you using data to dominate your local area? How are you showing up better? That's why I love talking to PropStream, because they show us how to do it. So
Yeah.
where do you want to start with this one, man?
No, I definitely think that's part of me, ladies and gentlemen, my microphone might be coming in and out. I'm just having some technical issues. So let me know if it's really bad and then we can move over to the Bluetooth part.
A little bit.
But I love where your mind is at, Tristan. I'm a firm believer that current events can assist a user with potentially manipulating our data to find a lead, right? So with like Compass's acquisition recently, I'm sure they're probably going to have a lot of incentives for agents that are on board, right? Because again, that's a new
Yep.
thing. Now there's two companies, you got two powerhouses together. Sure, they're going to take everything that worked over there plus what's working with the new company. And I'm just calling this out. I really believe we're going to see a very aggressive acquisition in terms of new leads. You're just going to see a lot of fire coming out of that space, in my opinion. So this is where I think comes into play. One of the things that we do very well, Tristan, is outbound marketing. I'm a firm believer that we're now in an era where we don't wait for people to call our brokerage. We actually get in front of people and let them know what our brokerage can do for them. And so this again applies to those that are part of that brand and even those that are not part of that brand. Because if you're not part of that brand, I'd be on my toes right now thinking, okay, two powerhouses just got together. That means they're gonna probably come heavy in my market. I need to
I
make
mean,
sure I
dude,
get them.
340,000 agents. They own
Sheesh.
over 50% of the market share for most of the metropolitan areas. Places like New York, 80%. Like,
Mm,
this is this will change the way we approach things, but it doesn't mean we're not going to still win individually, right? Because it all comes down to the agent. We just want to give you the right tools to show up better.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm again for me, again, I'm a firm believer that whether you're part of that brand today or you're not, you're going to be affected by it. And I'll give you my perspective. I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? But let's say I'm part of that brand and this acquisition happens. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new incentives now to stand out. Two companies are coming together. You're going to have those agents that are just going to work extremely harder now. They're going to double down. They're going to go 10 times what they're doing because they want to now stand out with a much larger audience that they're in or much bigger community. For those that are not part of the brand, you got a
That's
bigger
very
company
true.
now competing against you, right? So for me, outbound marketing is the point here. I think outbound marketing is always going to be something you need to hone in on because when stuff like that happens, it shouldn't affect you. Because if you're good at getting in front of the homeowner before all of that, you're on the right track. So let's share some examples. Okay, so you had that one current event. I don't know if you guys saw the news today, but the administration was talking about talking to these big mortgage companies to buy a bunch of loans to lower the rates. Did you guys hear about that news?
Yep.
So I was sitting here this morning going, hold on here. How is that important to people? Right? Like if I live in Mission Viejo, California right now. How
Mhm.
can this affect my market? Well, I'll tell you right now, there's two sides of the fence. One, there's a lot of people in this market where the rate dropping 1 or 2% isn't going to matter to them. And the reason for that is I have a lot of homeowners in the city who are already below the current rate that the federal government is offering loans on today. Doesn't make sense, right? If I try to call someone with the 2-3%, I say, hey, did you hear about the big news? Rates are going to drop maybe a point, half a
Mm.
point, whatever it may be. They're going to be like, I don't care. But this is where thinking outside of the box and using current events come into play. Instead of focusing on the folks that are below or at the current rate right now and saying, hey, did you hear the rates are going to, it's not important to them. Instead, what I
Yeah.
would recommend that you do is identify all the individual owners right now in your market that are obviously currently off market, because it's your job to get to them and maybe get to see if they want to list with you, right? Again, this is outbound marketing. I'm looking for off market properties purposely because
Got
my
it. Really quick
job is to,
question for everybody. Can you, just to make sure you all hear Burton correctly, or is he coming in and out on your end? Just
yeah,
let me
please
know.
let me know if I need to switch. I can definitely do that for you guys. Is the audio coming out for you guys fine?
Give me, audio is good, yes, or audio is not good, no. Yes or no.
Bad sound. Okay, hold on here. Let me switch to headphones.
How about now? Might be a little bit muffy because it's on Bluetooth, but can you guys hear me better now?
Well, clear now. It doesn't go in and out. I like it. Let's
Perfect.
go.
Let's do this.
Beautiful.
Okay. Recap. Outbound marketing. Using current events, okay, and using our data to get in front of these homeowners. Now, the current event I'm referring to is the administration was talking about these huge mortgage companies having them potentially buy a bunch of loans to hopefully drop the rate a little bit. That's the idea. Whether it's going to work or not, we'll leave it up to whoever, right? We're not here to talk politics. We're just here to listen to what's happening. So
Yep.
when I heard that this morning, I said, okay, well, who's that going to affect? If I reach out to someone at a 2-3% and say, did you hear the news? It's not going to matter to them. But if I go in my market, or your market, or any market, and I say, okay, hold on here. If someone is below the current rate today and I say to them, hey, did you hear the big news about rates drop? They're not going to want to care because their rate is already low. So instead, I'm going to look at the other side of the fence. I'm going to go into my market, look for everybody that's currently off market. Because again, if you're an agent, the intention is I want to reach out to them and see if they want to list with our brokerage. So make sure they're all off market. I want to speak to an individual. I don't want to speak to an institution like a corporation, just an individual who didn't recently move in this house. So maybe 7 years of ownership or more. They say in Southern California, people tend to move after 7 years. So we'll just use that as a starting point.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to aim for apartments or anything. So let's just make sure we're aiming for residential and single family properties, which is the majority of the makeup in my market here. So, okay, off market, individually owned for 7 years, residential single family. But the news, if rates are going to lower and people with 2 or 3%, they don't care about that, then who will? Well, how about the people that have owned their house for 7 years, right around a time where they decide to want to move, but their rates are actually higher. So maybe someone that has an 8% or higher rate in this market. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to inform them about the current event. You see, you're the real estate professional. It's your job to know about what's happening and how it can impact home ownership. And so if I'm hearing on the news, the administration is trying to do something to lower the rate, my job now is to find everybody in this market with an 8% interest rate or higher and say, hey, did you hear what the administration is going to do? Rumor has it the rates might be dropping, and this might be a good time to sell and get a fixed rate that's much lower than your rate. Would you like to know the value of your property today? I could definitely comp it for you in the next hour. And that starts that competition. And so, Tristan, back to you. I love what you did. You're paying attention to current events. And I always encourage people, you have to keep your ear down to the ground when it comes to that stuff, right? But then when you start looking at PropStream, how can I take those current events and manipulate PropStream's data? In this case, who has a high interest rate? Because they're going to want to know about the rate drop. You see, there's a millions of Americans out there that don't know what you know. They probably don't even know what I just talked about. They probably don't even know the rates might be dropping this year because they're working 2 jobs. So, Tristan, outbound marketing, data manipulation, paying close attention to current events, and then molding it all together will help you find these 39 homeowners that need to know about this rate drop potentially happening.
Yeah, I think it's multi-pronged because we take the data and then we can touch people differently. If it's only, did you say 39, right? So 39.
Just in this one city, correct.
Okay, let's go with these 39 just so people can understand the simplicity behind it. Doesn't mean it's not hard. but the simplicity
Correct.
behind this, you've got 39. Now, what are the multiple ways you can connect with them or attempt to connect with them, right? You've got, what type of data do we get from here so can we call them? Can we email them? Can we door knock them? Can we, what can we do? Show me.
Great question. So more than just the address, and obviously if you want more property information, you can easily click on any of these addresses. And what's really cool about PropStream is that we give you everything that we collected for the most part, right? So you can see the MLS history if it was once listed on the market, the demographic makeup, like how many renters versus owners. So if you're speaking to a landlord who wants to buy an asset here, this is probably not the best asset for them because there's not a lot of renters in the market, right? Mortgage information. This homeowner has 2 mortgages. We got to make sure we assist them with that, right? So not only do we give you the address and the data, if you want to take it a little bit further, PropStream has the ability to skip trace. You save those 39 properties, we'll store them in your My Property area, and then this orange button here at the top is called skip tracing. When it loads up, you'll see it in just a second. I do have a lot of properties. There it is. So I can take my Burton County tax absentee owners, and skip trace it. And for those that don't know what that means acquiring contact information, ladies and gentlemen. PropStream has the ability to give you phone numbers, emails, and we'll even tell you who's on the do not call list as well.
So you're just enriching our data here.
If the idea is to get to the homeowner before the competition, then absolutely, this right here will close that gap much further. So rather than sending a postcard and waiting a week and a half, which I don't want to even dismiss, we actually have that in PropStream. There is a campaign section. So if you want to send postcards and emails, you can definitely do that. But that's the goal. I mean, our mission is to get you to the owner as fast as possible because we know the competition is here, guys, right? So how do we get you to the homeowner as fast as possible? 1, data manipulation, right? Find those targeted leads out there. That's important. 2, once you have them sorted out and targeted, you can get their contact information. And once you have that, there are 3 marketing options for you. If you want to send a postcard, great. If you want to send an email, we have that. And we even have a dialer as well. So if you want to dial out to them, you definitely can do that as well. Or maybe do all 3. You never know. Right? You got to do what it takes to get to them before that big acquisition and all their hungry agents that are now fired up with the new incentives are going to come into your market.
Does this data work in Canada?
Ooh, great question. No, this is just US data only, but if you're in Canada and you want to invest in the US, we definitely have a bunch of Canada users using PropStream for that purpose, but
That's
we
true.
do not have Canada data.
We have seen that for sure. I like that. All right, so we've got all these different data points that we can use to then touch on the clients over a short or long period of time, right? So that means postcards, letters, we can throw this into our CRM, we can nurture them there, we can call them, right? We can stop by and drop off some information or just communicate with them in that way. Now, what are some other ways that you're looking at an opportunity to use this data to get more business?
This is actually really cool. You said that. So just last week, I was working with a brokerage out in a market somewhere. I won't name the brokerage. I won't name the market, but they just asked Burton, if you were on our team, what are some things that you would do? And I said, well, let me look at your listings. And what I did was I sorted out all the listings that had over 90 days on the market. So again, I can go to any market in this example. So if I wanted to go to, let's say, Houston, I think someone mentioned they were in Houston. What's going on, Trish? So I can go to Houston, for example, and one of our data sets is MLS. And so I can go in the MLS section here of our filtering menu and say, hey, I'm looking for anything that's either currently active or 90 days and below, right? Or more, I'm sorry. So what I did was I said, okay, show me everything that you guys have that's 90 days or more. And they said, okay, here are my results. And so I said, okay, what I would recommend is that maybe look at it in a different lens. Because what I notice a lot of agents will do is they'll take this listing, right? And they'll end up marketing it to everybody in Houston, which is not a bad idea, right? You're trying to take this listing and throw it out in that big pond. What I told them to do is, look, it's clearly not working. And I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Because if you're marketing to the whole city and it's still out in 90 days, then we might be looking at the wrong, we might be looking at it the wrong way. So I told them, pick someone in your office who has time, maybe your intern, have them search the address. And then once they search the address, go immediately into the demographics. And I want them to do two things. Write down how many owners versus renters are in a half a mile radius. So we can actually take it down to half a mile if we'd like. So in a half a mile, there's actually more owners than there are renters in this market. Okay, so that was the first thing. We need to know owner versus renter in this market. Once we understand that, now we can highly target who we actually need to look at this property. So now that I know it's owners versus renters, I'll go into the comparables in nearby listings. And instead of just looking at comps within a half mile, no. This is an area where people want to buy and spend the rest of their lives in.
Yeah.
I need to look for flippers in this market because they understand that, hey, this is, I mean, the flippers are already doing the homework. The flippers know it more than I know.
Dude.
Right? So why market your property that's suitable for a forever buyer to the entire city? You don't need to do that. You just need to go and find the right individual. And so in this case, I just want to see the fix and flipper within a half a mile radius that are looking for the same property, a 4-bedroom minimum, 3.5 bathroom. And there's my one fixer and flipper right there. It's literally just across the block. You don't need to market the whole city. Your buyers are right there. They're already invested. They know the makeup of the market. They know their clientele. I just need to reach out to this person, which I can click on, go into the details. And because it's a flipper, they probably already used another agent. So again, I'm in Southern California, Mission Viejo. And if I wanted to reach out to this flipper, I can either skip trace them and get the flipper's contact information, or if the flipper's too busy, I also have the agent's information.
So you can go after all of the investors, right? And you have this conversation.
Oh, I didn't even think of that angle, but that's absolutely true. That's
dude. I'm like, give me all of those 20 or however you popped up. I'm dialing them, right? Which is like, hey, it's Tristan. I work with Y Realty. Listen, I saw you flipped a home there. Are you guys looking for other investment opportunities? And that just let them talk.
I love that. See, and that's the idea. Is to me, data is not so black and white anymore. You know, what I mean by that is go to the county, grab your list, work the list. Now you have all this data in your hands, right? And so it's just a matter of looking at it in a different lens. And so,
dude, hold on. I mean, this is why I love doing this shit with you. Okay. Oh, all right. Here's what I need. Okay. Yeah, Larry, we're gonna get the recording because I'm gonna watch it again too. I need. This is now I'm being super selfish. Okay, you're gonna have to help
That's okay. Go for it.
I've noticed over the last. I've been calling since I started in this business 22 years ago. I've noticed that when I call landlords that own 2 properties or maybe 3 properties or less, I would say around there.
Yeah.
They sometimes hate being a landlord.
Yes.
And they're like, do we want to really do this? Because they're usually the ones handling the 2-1 rental. And they're like, I hate this crap.
They didn't think owning assets would become a property management job, right?
That's it. So I want to reverse engineer this. I want to find, we could pick the same area that you're in. I want to find just the the landlords that own, let's go with 2 properties or less. And they're going to be the people I call to be like, hey, it's Tristan. Saw that you rent this home out. How's it going with it? Because I have 3 scripts for it. Here are my scripts.
Oh, okay.
It's really 3 opportunities you have per landlord that owns 2 or less. One is, hey, how's it going with it? Just calling all of the landlords in the area because I work here. How's it going with that? Oh, it's good. Great. Are you looking to invest in other ones close by? No, we're pretty happy. Right. Well, do you have any other rentals that you're having a challenge with? And we already know they don't, right? So usually 3 questions we cycle through, and those are amazing for us. That's why I want to do this. Show me.
And ladies and gentlemen, you could definitely do that. So first, pull up your market, county, city, or zip code. Immediately go into the filter, and that everything you said is right in this one area right here, Tristan. It's in our owner information, right? Because that's what you're looking for. I'm looking for this type of owner. In this case, this individual owner, right? Don't want an LLC or anything, and I don't want an individual, like you said, who has multiple properties or comfortable with having 10 or more. I'm looking for this individual in Houston who has a minimum of 2 to 3 properties, right? Besides the one they live in, they have this other rental property. Either they have 2 in their portfolio or 3 max. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have, if we're talking a numbers game, you have a lot of work that, and again, and this is a lot of good leads, right? You can literally work this list. We have about 250,000 homeowners
dude,
in Houston with a minimum of 2
little areas. Listen, just do a radius of like 10 miles.
169 right there.
That's
and here's the thing too. I love where your mind is at too. And you know what I would do is
tell me.
The way I like to look at PropStream filtering is kind of like little knobs you turn and twist, right? So the way I'm looking at this now is like, okay, 160,000, that's a lot. What knob can I twist to turn up that motivation to sell, or in this case, the headache of being in this market? 2 filters I could think of. One, you're out of the county. So what you said, right? Like, it's not that like you have 2 or 3 properties, which sure is manageable if you live locally, but you have to now go out of county to get your rent, or when you go on your website and the rent didn't get paid, and they're not taking your phone. Well, you got to get in the car and drive to the property now. Or when there's a busted pipe and you're not working with the local contractor because you're the contractor, I got to drive out county now. And so again, to me, I look at it that way, Tristan. What knob, right, can I twist to just turn up that motivation? And then again, that's part of the conversation. Hey, I see that you own this property in a different county. Congratulations. Not to millions of Americans can do that. How's everything with that property? And just stay quiet for the next 30 seconds and see what happens.
Dude, this is so good, man. This is the type of stuff. What other knobs do you think we can add or tweak to give us a more refined result, do you think? Because you know the system much better than
this right here. The reason it's as large as it is right now is I didn't get into details on the type of property that's being rented out. So again, it could be a duplex. So the more specifics that you give us, the better. Let's say I'm just looking for an owner in this market. The rental property I like to work with or to help them sell is definitely a residential single-family property. And again, if you are an agent, we want to make sure that property is off market as well. So just by adding a few more filters, we can reduce the noise, if you will. So what we're asking PropStream here is we do want someone who lives outside of the county, who is an individual, has 2 or 3 properties, and that 2 or 3 property, the second or third property, is in Houston. That property is off market. I don't want to step on any toes, right? Yeah. And it's a residential single family property. And so again, just creating that story.
Let's go for one more. Let's twist the knob one more.
Let's go for it.
People bought during COVID, impulse buying. Everyone's buying. I want to buy one too. Let's go. Let's put that into the mix.
Okay, so then owner information last sale date, because we can really be specific. They bought in 2020. So any of these addresses, so we have 7,000 addresses, but out of the 7,000 addresses, which ones bought from January 1st of 2020?
Got it.
So we're going to get really specific here, right? To the end of December of 2020. All I'm telling PropStream is go through all the transactions.
Let's go to 2021. Let's go to 2021.
Oh, okay, perfect. So let's find December, and then we'll do 2021. There we go. And then we'll do 31st. And I didn't change the date there, so let's go back to
Dan. This is recorded. It's going to live in our Lab Code Agents YouTube channel, and we'll also send this out to everyone that registered. But Dan, you could literally go on right now. It's playing on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it.
All right, there we have it, Tristan. From 7,000, we went through all the records and said, okay, we have 7,000, but which of the 7,000 bought in that time frame? January 2020 to December 2021.
Dude, yes.
396. That's your COVID. That's your COVID
I would do
audience
that.
right there.
Now I would do a few things here. And if I could get the list up to 1,000, I would do one more thing. But let me tell you.
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, I think the reason it's this low is because we still have the out of county in play. So we just check that off a little bit. And
check up. Yeah, let's see what happens.
We should have a little bit more results. So I think it's loading up here. Hold on. Let me just trigger that.
Out of county and local, so it's perfect.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on here. I think I'm lagging.
You broke it, dude, because you're so amazing.
I just need to slow down. So as you saw, it was just starting to load up. I'm over here going way too fast. Pardon me. I'm a little geek when it comes to technology, and
that's so funny.
As you can see, my computer can't even keep up with what I'm asking it to do. All right, so let's restart this. Did you, before I'm gonna just slap those filters back in here, Tristan, did you have another filter you wanted to add?
No, keep it to individual. Mm-hmm. Keep it to the Houston area. I think you did single family residence, right? COVID. Mm-hmm. 20 COVID, January 20. Let's go with 2020 to end of 2021, and then owns another property or maybe two, right? So we went to 2 to 3, right? On this filter.
Correct.
And I think the thing that I want to do is, if it narrows it down to just a little over 1,000, I can now use that as an audience on Facebook to target them and have it deliver a message to them specifically, right? And then have them land somewhere or just grab their information through the lead ad. And now it delivers it to my CRM. And now I have people that are interested, and I already have them on here, dude. It's like, oh, I already know who you are because I was targeting you. Now you're interested. Great. I've got all your information. I know all about your property, all about your home. Now I can just call you, and it'll be a warm call instead of a cold call, because sometimes people don't like the cold calling, right? So now that's one thing I would think of. The other one is I would mail them something. Just go to ChatGPT, give this exact criteria to ChatGPT or Claude, right? Or even Gemini, saying, hey, I'm going to be mailing to individual owners who own 2 or 3 properties in Houston. And I think, based on what I know, some of these people don't want to be landlords anymore. Yes. Create a letter for me that connects to that pain and let them know that I can help them. Boom, letter 1, letter 2, letter 3. Next, you've got their email. Throw that same thing into email. And then ask it to give you a script on how to approach this so that you can call it better. And then, if you want to practice, just practice with ChatGPT and be like, okay, pretend you're that homeowner. Let's practice. Give me 5 objections. Let's go.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Like utilizing ChatGPT as the caller. That's actually clever, Tristan.
We make a good team, buddy.
It's crazy because it's funny because you literally, the way my mind works, I'm like, wait, you could do that for like your next interview. Like, hey, I'm about to interview for this stock brokerage. Like, pretend you're the guy, and how do I? Oh, I didn't even think about how you could utilize it to kind of better yourself. And wow. Well, it looks like I just froze the system. So let me refresh. Let me just log out and log back in here. I think I went so fast. I caused what we would call a backlog.
Don't even worry about it, man.
Are you sure? Okay. Well, again, the point here is data manipulation. If you can think about it, more than likely you can apply it in our filtering menu.
I think the thing that's super clear here is, as we're in 2026 and we're just getting started, we want you to use PropStream to be able to grab as much data as you can and really connect with those people that you want to reach out to. Is it investors? Is it homeowners? Is it, flippers, first-time flipper, right? Or what? Just a community? You want to just geo-farm and connect with people that have lived in a home for 10 years plus, and maybe they have equity? Like, there's so much you can do here. And I think this is why every time I do this with you, like literally, man, if you guys watch some of the replays of this, almost every single episode, I'm like, man, You just taught me something new, and this was good. This was very
Thank you,
good.
Tristan.
I love
You've
it.
been the best, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody watching. Tristan, if there's anything else, let me know.
Well, there's
I'm
one
always happy to come
question.
back. Yeah.
There's one question from Katrina. What's up, Katrina? Can you advise on how PropStream differs from Property Radar? I'm on the fence on which one to work with.
That's a
Great
great question. And you know what? Again, I don't want to be a salesman. I'm not here to tell you ours is better and theirs is the. No. Here's the best way to compare any two products. And this is the honest truth here. One, pull up the same address on both products. I'm sure both of us have the trial period. So use the trial period for this purpose. Pull up an address on both products and then just look at the line items in the property details. Because remember, at the end of the day, the more data you have, the better decisions you can make on that asset, or when it comes to informing the seller or the buyer about said asset. So one way to compare, pull up the same address, look at the data. Second, go into the filtering menu. Just click on the filter menu and count how many filters there are in the filter menu. Because if lead generation, which I truly believe is a very, very important thing this year, if that's on top of your list, the more filters you have as a user means the more I can manipulate the data and create these unique things. There are some people out there or products out there that don't even have an interest rate filter. So looking for those homeowners with high interest rates, you're not going to be able to do on certain products.
Very true.
I'm not here to sell you. I'm just here to show you how to best compare two products. Pull up the property details, compare that first, and then pull up the filtering menu and compare that as well.
Perfect. Take a look at both, Katrina. Great question. All right, guys, thank you so much. This is recorded. It'll be on our YouTube channel right now, so you can take a look, slow it down, see what else you've got on there. I appreciate you, Burton. And let's talk right after this. Thanks, everybody.